Previously on Carcone Carne.
At some point, we'll get that new music, which is awesome, long overdue.
We need a label. You gotta mix it. We'll get a label though. We'll put it on ourselves these days.
It's Carcone Carne. Let's eat in the car. It's Carcone Carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
This is like a TV commercial here, looking at the cheese dripping.
We're just past the midway point of dry January, and if you need some inspiration to keep it going, grab yourself a 4-pack of NA beer from Well-Being. Right now, I'm drinking their Going Places IPA. It's brewed with a blend of 3 West Coast hops. It has a refreshingly crisp, effervescent bitterness, balanced by aromatic notes of citrus, mango, and pineapple. It's the perfect travel partner for any adventure or for just sitting in your home office to record a podcast. Cheers. Well-Being also just released an oatmeal cookie stout. It's ridiculous, and it's also super limited. Check out all the beers at wellbeingbrewing.com and take 10% off your online order with my promo code, JVO. You know a podcast is legit if it has a promo code. Everyone wins. You get a high-quality, delicious, non-alcoholic beer. I get to prove that people listen to the podcast. Well-Being stuff is seriously great. Celebrate the joy of January with Well-Being. Quick programming note, I'm recording this on Monday the 17th. Next Monday, the 24th, I'm recording episode number 700, or 700, if you're from Chicago, of Carcone Carne. I started the show almost 8 years ago. It's a crazy milestone to hit. I'm not going to say too much about it. I gave a hint about it on social media, but episode 700 of Carcone Carne happens next week. So at this point in the evening, you may be thinking to yourself, why me? Why am I down? Why feel I'm not whole, so far below? But then you realize, holy shit, it's not a mood. It's the fact that Naked freaking Raygun is on Carcone Carne. That's right, Naked Raygun. They're all here. Hi, guys. Thank you for being part of the show tonight.
Naked Raygun, where?
Naked Raygun. Can you believe it? This album.
James, so you have a sponsor for Dry January? Did you have a sponsor for No Nut November, or what was it?
Oh yeah, what that was a thing, right?
Yeah, it was news to me, and I did not participate. I will admit, but
couldn't we just leave it at grow a mustache in November? Why did we have to go in that direction? It was a weird one.
Yeah, I don't get it.
But the point is this:
to be behind it, though.
The point is this. I have with me tonight, I've got Jeff, I've got Eric, I've got Bill, I've got Fritz, I've got Naked Raygun. The new album is fantastic. It is the Overlords on Wax Trax, a convergence of everything awesome about Chicago. And what's interesting, the response to the album, you read what people say, you hear what people say, and it's strange. There's almost like a sense of relief, like, oh, fuck, it's really good. Of course, it's Naked Raygun. Of course it's good. But the point is, age and the passage of time carry kind of a weird stigma in music, I guess, in the world at large. Did you feel any of that pressure, like coming back after literal decades and reclaiming your proverbial punk rock throne?
I don't think we felt any pressure coming back after so long, because so little was expected of us. And I think the assumption was it was going to suck, because it had been, 30 freaking years since we put out our last record, which I totally get. I totally get that, because bands that I love or loved came back after like extended hiatuses, and they just put out, just a turd of an album, and you're thinking like, wow, I wish they really wouldn't have done that. And sometimes they've been so awful, and of course I won't mention any names, that it may actually kind of make you rethink of, how your relationship to the band. But I think we knew we were sitting on something good, so we didn't have any trepidations about putting this out there. We all thought it was pretty good, so there you go. And today, a guy on YouTube which means it's true, said we put out the best Chicago rock record of 2021, beating out Styx, so suck it Styx, and Cheap Trick, I love them, but suck it, and who's the other band? Rise Against. Yeah, so suck it, Rise Against.
That would be crushing. If I were Tim or Joe of Rise Against, I'd feel crushed to have Bill say that to me. That'd be, they look up to you.
Oh, we're pals with them.
Okay, good. Thank goodness. So I know everyone contributes to Naked Raygun songs. Did you guys just hit a consensus where you're like, yeah, this has to be an album. We have to move forward with a full release? And when did that happen?
I think we had done some singles, from like 2010-ish to 2012-ish, something like that, 3 singles. And we went back into the studio. We had some new material, and we thought, well, we'll put out more singles. Maybe we'll get really ambitious and do an EP or something, like a 4-song EP. So I think we recorded 5 songs in the first session, and things were sounding really, really good, like better than they ought to have been sounding. So we thought, hey, we should just go ahead and write a full record. We're all, halfway there. So we did, and there you go.
I think you led from just a release perspective with the most obvious song to release from the album, Living in the Good Times. It's a no-brainer. It's a home run. The video, I thought, reinforced everything that I've come to know about Naked Raygun. It reinforced that sense of community. And furthermore, it reinforced that sense of community during a time when we really needed to feel it. I'm sure you've talked at length about the making of the video, but share a little of the thought process behind, jumping on the roof of Cobra and doing that and having everyone sing along.
Well, they really wanted all the fans to participate if they could, so I'm glad we got to do that. We also wanted to give a little tip of the hat to Cobra Lounge, because they've been so good to us. You got the whole full tour of Cobra Lounge from the floor to the first floor to the roof, actually. And I don't know, we just thought that'd be a good place to shoot it, so we did. It was really cold that day, though. It froze our ass off.
Yeah. Also, we have practiced for, I don't know, 12, 15 years at this point, probably, on the 4th floor apartment at Cobra Lounge. That's our practice space. So it was really easy getting everything from the 4th floor up onto the roof. So
it was opportunistic.
And how do you beat that shot of the skyline? You can't.
You don't. You don't. And the gas mask. Oh my God. I love the line. So enough with all this talk about revolution. What we really need is some evolution. There's some great lyrical messages, Jeff, on this album. And spiraling out of Living in the Good Times, Farewell to Arms, which is tucked away on the back of the album, song talking about gun control. Are you surprised? And I ask this because I am, that more bands aren't taking on issues like this. I feel like there's been a lack, a paucity, a dearth of political music over the past few years when I feel like we need to hear it most.
Yeah, there's not very many political bands out there anymore. Whatever happened to kill MDC, Millions of Dead Cops? But seriously, yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty strong feeling about guns. I'm really anti-gun, and I live where everybody has a gun. Everybody has more than one gun out here, but we don't have any guns.
Yeah, because you're pretty rural. You're in gun country.
Yeah, I'm in gun country. Really got a gun.
He's a country squire.
He is a country squire.
The brass bands aren't picking up the political thing, though. There's so many sides to take if you want to take them, People rushing the Capitol building and all sorts of crazy shit going on.
The timing is right for Naked Raygun to return to our general consciousness. One of my favorite songs, unrelated, on the album is Superheroes. I'm just sitting here whistling Pixies, wondering how it is you could nix me. The reference to the Pixies, they were contemporaries of yours at one point, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. Bill wrote that song. He wrote the whole thing. What about the Bill? What about that?
Well, I'm just sitting here whistling Dixie. kind of lame compared to I'm just sitting here whistling Pixies. And we're all big Pixies fans. We were, you know, I think me and Eric went to see him one time way back in the day. You know, I still have a lot of respect for him, no matter who's playing the bass nowadays. So yeah, it was a nice little shout out and a little kind of a happy accident that it actually, you know, Pixies and Nix Me rhyme.
They're totally a contemporary of ours. So I remember being in radio stations and colleges, and they had like just left the station. We were coming in the door, and we released a record at the same time they released one of theirs. I think Doolittle maybe, and we were very very much happening at the same time.
And,
yeah, except they became huge on a global scale, and then
right.
we just broke up.
Right. Well, there's only that.
You know, Bill, that's Showbiz 101, man. Leave them wanting more. Take your exit.
Wait for the album that's coming out in 2051. That's gonna blow your mind, man.
Well, nostalgia plays into a lot of people's memories of Naked Raygun, thoughts of Naked Raygun. And to that, and I mentioned the video to Living in the Good Times, the video to Broken Things, not a new song. I mean, certainly one of the less new songs on the album. For the video, you use old band flyers as kind of a backdrop for a lyric video. What do you guys think of when you look back on old flyers? Do you think about the old shows, that moment in time, the you know, DIY pasting together and hanging flyers up on posts and dropping them off at record stores? Where does your sense of nostalgia hit?
I think about all those things. Yeah, think about how sometimes the prices on the poster. You know how much it is to get in. Usually it's $5. Isn't that pretty?
$5? What do you think? I won the lotto?
Isn't that pretty incredible?
How about $3?
Yeah, $3. $3, $5.
You know, yeah, I do get a fluttering heart and all nostalgic and weepy eyed when seeing the old flyers and all that. But man, I tell you, you know, just posting something on Facebook or Instagram is a whole hell of a lot easier, and the graphics are a lot better. So, you know.
I think back to all the dark, seedy neighborhoods and joints you used to play back in the day. Everything seems brighter, stacked with high-end condos. I mean, Wrigleyville, for example, unrecognizable from when you guys first started playing it, when you were starting out. Completely different in every way.
I ate at a restaurant there. I had bone marrow for dinner.
Exactly. And before, there used to be marrow on the curbs and on the street.
Right.
What was that bar at Armitage and Racine?
West End.
That used to be a crap neighborhood.
Yeah, that's bad. It's scary.
I mean, that was like a really dodgy place to go see a show. And I mean, now, right? I mean,
when I started going to Chicago, where Shubas is, was really scary, really fucking scary.
Yeah, unthinkable now. Now it's like $750,000 single family homes.
Right.
Totally different. I need to bring up the fact that the album's out on Wax Trax, because, you know, for me, that kid growing up in the area, discovering Naked Raygun, I was discovering Raygun at the same time I was discovering Wax Trax and going to the store on Lincoln Avenue. Perceptually, I think I want to believe that Wax Trax and Raygun kind of ran on parallel tracks back in the day, but was there overlap in artists, contemporaries, fans?
Wax Trax is always a great place to go to find new music. Jim Nash and Danny, his partner in crime, would always play some. When I walked in, they'd always say, "Hey Jeff, you got to listen to this," and they put a new Joy Division song or something really kick ass, and eventually I would buy it. But little known, my brother used to work on the second floor and sell clothes and fanzines, and my sister was the first and for a long time the only employee of the record label. She worked for the record label. She worked in the Wax Trax building on another floor, but she did that for a long time. She actually in the cover of a Ministry album too. Her face.
That's
so
amazing.
we had a lot of ties with Wax Trax.
Yeah, and Eric played on the Palehead record.
Right.
And
we
I worked.
What was that?
I worked at Kinko's. It was right next door to
That's
Wax
right.
Trax.
Perfect.
I work on the store in Damon. That was my
And
connection.
we used to record at Chicago Trax, which was kind of the house studio for Al Jorgensen and all his like side projects, which were all on Wax Trax. So, you know, he was always coming in. Well, and we used his engineer in the studio. He produced our last record, unfortunately, because it sounded really horrible. But yeah, you know, we'd always see Al and all his entourage in the studio, and we'd have to, you know, like put the mirrors back up onto the pick it up off the toilet, put it back on the wall.
Yeah, and I don't even think you're talking out of school, Bill, because I mean that was the reputation of Trax back in the day, Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah, and then there was us who were just like ordering takeout from Leona's, you know.
A lot of takeout.
I do miss the Leonas on Sheridan Road. But Jeff, last time I interviewed you was probably a few years ago. You knew that an album was in the works. You knew it was in flux as far as how you'd put it out. The Wax Trax connection, how did it feel to kind of come to an agreement there? Because to me, it's like two superpowers coming together. It's like Batman and Superman coming together saying, yes, we will fight Lex Luthor together.
Well, I knew Julian Nash quite a bit. We ran into her throughout the years, pretty friendly with her, and we just thought it was a good match. We didn't really seek each other out. We kind of just thought of each other. I don't know. We originally were going to put it out on another label out on the West Coast, and then we were going to do it ourselves, and we figured that was too much of a pain in the ass, and then Wax Trax came up, and we decided to ask them if they like it. They'd like to do their album, and I said yes. So kind of melded very nicely.
So we can't talk about Naked Raygun. We can't talk about this album without talking about Pierre Kezdy. He passed away at only 58. Can you guys tell me or tell us what kind of person he was, what kind of musician he was?
Yeah, he was a pretty incredible musician. He would write songs that I could never write. You know, he would write. He had a different approach to music. He knew a lot about music theory, and but he didn't let that get in the way of his songwriting, which can happen pretty easily. But he's just a great songwriter. He wrote some great lyrics and really thought about his music a lot. Can't say enough about the guy.
And some really unique songwriting, I thought. And his mantra was, oh, just keep it simple, keep it simple. And then he comes up with these songs like, Pierre, this is like the farthest thing from simple, you know? But yeah, he was a great guy. You know, I'm honored that, you know, I was able to call him a friend for so long, and there'll never be another Pierre Kezdy, absolutely not. He also knew everything there was to know. He knew something about.
Very learned guy. Not finishing high school. Very learned guy.
And you guys have seen and done and been through so much shit. I mean, you put another tragedy you've been peripherally associated with on the album. I don't even know how to phrase it, but Ode to Sean McHugh is a big moment on this album. He passed a few years ago. What do you think his reaction would be to being immortalized in song on this album?
He'd probably be humbled. He's a really important guy to us because he practiced his space. He had a deal with him, a handshake deal, that he could use the name All Rise for his brewery as long as we could drink and eat at his bar and restaurant for free forever, and that was the deal. And practice on the fourth floor too. Yeah, he could use the name All Rise as much as he wanted to. So that was a handshake deal. When his brother took over the business, he presented us with a 1.5-inch thick document from Winston Strawn law firm to sign, and Lou said, "Fuck that, we're not doing that." So we just kept it at a handshake deal.
Lou is here. Lou manages Naked Raygun, and he wanted to come on. I'm assuming to talk about Pierre.
Hey, Lou.
Yeah.
Hey, Lou.
Hey, how you doing? Hi, guys. Yeah, actually, James, there's actually 2 points that I think are important to make with regards to the 2 last things that you talked about, which was A, Pierre Kezdy, and B, Wax Trax. I think, you know, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that part of the whole Wax Trax thing came about actually was when I was talking to Pierre towards the end. The realization came to me that the very first Wax Trax album ever produced was his album, which is
Strike Under was Wax Trax like 001.
01. Yep. So with that, that's what kind of spurred the idea and the thought of potentially marrying the two things together. So you have basically Pierre Kezdy's first album on Wax Trax and unfortunately his last album on Wax Trax.
And Elephant's Graveyard is such a lasting, enduring song from that period.
So many great songs. Striker had so many great songs.
Yep.
Such a great song. Well, thank you for that, Lou. I appreciate that. So looking ahead, everything is so weird right now, guys. I don't even know how to go about this, but if we ever get out from under the plague, what's the goal and vision for Naked Raygun moving forward?
Well, we plan to re-release those singles. They're originally on Riot Fest Records. They were very not well distributed, I don't think. So we want to re-release those singles, both the A sides and B sides, put them on one album. Maybe record 5 or 6 new songs and put that out as an album.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I don't want to ask you a loaded question, but here's a loaded question: is All Rise the best Naked Raygun album?
I don't know. This new one's pretty good too.
New one's awesome. I mean, pick one. I mean, honestly, you can't really go wrong.
See, I would still pick Throb Throb.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's weird.
It's only in America, I think, is an outlier on that one.
Is that what?
It's an outlier. It's the most unusual, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what.
More unusual than leeches?
Fair. Fair. Yeah. Okay. Rat Patrol, Surf Combat.
The Top Throb is very widespreadly widespread. I knew that the sound man at Cobra Lounge, Danny, he said there's not one week that went by that a band didn't play Rat Patrol. He said everybody plays Rat Patrol.
Like as a cover or like just over the house?
Yeah, if it was a heavy metal band, they play Rat Patrol. The screamo band, eventually they play Rat Patrol. If it was whatever kind of band it was, if it, a reggae band, they would play Rat Patrol. He said every week I hear Rat Patrol as I'm doing sound. Crazy.
I feel like any band that uses a whoa, 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 whoa in their songs should pay you like a $5 royalty every time they utter that on stage. That all started with you.
Yeah, and then we'll give Glenn Danzig $4.50 of that $5 royalty.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, Naked Raygun. Holy crap! I can't even believe you're all here. The new album, Over the Overlords. It's an achievement. Is it worth the wait? Yeah, it's worth the wait. We were happy to stick it out and get new music from you in the form of a full album. I love and adore you guys. The city loves and adore you guys, and I really appreciate you doing this tonight.
Well, we love and adore you too. So.